So if you're considering selling your home and wondering how to increase the value of it, well, today's video will cover the number one thing you can do in order to increase the value of your home. Well, it's paint. A fresh coat of paint can modernize a home, create a neutral palette, and also create that inviting feeling just by choosing the right paint color. And the good news is paint is the cheapest, most cost-effective update that gives you a great return on your investment when it comes to selling your home. And today's video will look at some real examples on color choices that will affect the sale price of the home far greater than the cost of paint. Now, it's important to understand that a home will still sell in spite of the paint selection, but a home that doesn't appeal to the largest audience will likely sell for less money than a home that does. So this video is for those wanting to know how to get the highest sale price for their home. Additionally, I will bring in my resident expert on colors to assist in helping you with the best color selection, and I will also have a link in the description so you can refer back to it. I'm Harold Powell. I'm a local real estate agent here serving Ventura and the surrounding areas, and if you like my videos, be sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon to be notified of future content. So the most important concept in selling your home is that you are trying to appeal to the largest buyer audience possible and make it easy for the buyers to imagine themselves living there. So going with a neutral color palette appeals to the greatest number of buyers, which leads to the highest price. The challenge is that it may not be your style or preference, which is why hiring a decorator will help you make design choices based on your style. However, staging may actually feel uncomfortable or boring since you're not going to have bold accent walls or trendy wallpaper. It's important to understand the difference actually between a stager and a decorator. A stager is going to work to depersonalize your home, while a decorator works to personalize your home and to your style. A stager will likely have 30 to 40% fewer decor items than a decorator to improve the flow and the openness of the floor plan. And a stager will decorate with neutral tones to appeal to the masses, and a decorator's job is to find your specific style and to appeal to an audience of one, which is you. So these tips are for those looking to sell for their home for the most money, not make the home their own. All right, so let's take a look at a few examples. Let's compare two pictures from two similar family rooms and kitchen shots. Now, we're talking from a buyer online perspective when we look at this. So when you look at this, which picture do you like? Is it the one with bold accents or is it the one with more neutral tones? Would you pick the neutral one, and maybe a small number of people would choose the bold colors because it reflected their style choice? The challenge here is that bold colors make it much more difficult for a buyer to imagine their stuff there. One other detail is notice how the ceiling feels higher, seems higher in the photo with the white paint, while the yellow accent ceiling wall above the kitchen actually makes the ceiling feel lower. Also, notice how the neutral photo extended the wood floors into the kitchen, and this makes the floor plan seem larger and less chopped up than the other photo. Now, you may be wondering, can paint and flooring make that much of a difference? Well, both of these photos were taken from the same tract, floor plans were similar, and the time frame was similar. And the bold accent home sold for $925,000 and the neutral one sold for $1 million. Pretty big difference. All right, so I want to show you one other photo of the same floor plan. This one used a more neutral accent, and you'll look at the challenge that it also presents here. Here you can see the similar family room kitchen shot with an accent wall, and this color is much more neutral than the previous one, but once again, the accent wall above the kitchen makes it feel much more closed in. And when I compare the two photos, the white feels more open and larger compared to the darker accent color. Also notice how the flooring transition chops up the living room and the kitchen to make it smaller in the accent photo. Now remember, this is not about what style I like, but how to appeal to the largest audience to sell your home. And if you've purchased a home, then you should choose a color and design that just suits you. All right, now let's go to the bedrooms of this house and compare it to the neutral house. We see a lot more personality with bright colors compared to the other neutral house. So when we look at these two photos side by side, ask yourself this question: which one do you have an easier time imagining putting your furniture in? Also, which feels more open? Now, there is quite a bit more furniture in the bold accent, so you may well think, if we remove that furniture, how would it feel then? Well, I will have to say that having too much furniture makes the room feel cramped. So let's just take a look at a similar photo that is vacant. Now, when you take a look at this, does it make it easier for you to envision, or do your eyes gravitate towards the flooring flaws in this one? So what's interesting is that the third home with the neutral accent wall and bolder room color choice sold for $955,000 compared to the neutral colored kitchen and bedroom sold for $1 million. So you could say that buyers have voted with their pocketbook as to which one is more appealing. And I realize this can be a lot of work. And just so you know, if I put my own house on the market, I would need to paint it to get the most money, because we've made choices that my wife and I like that were not neutral since we weren't looking to sell. All right, let's head on over to a house and get some paint color pointers with our resident decorator expert. So here we are with Julie Powell, interior decorator, wife, and home prep consultant to my clients. Now, I did want to mention that if you were wondering about flooring choices when selling, I recommend watching our video on Don't Choose This Flooring if you're selling your home. Now, thank you, Julie, for coming out and helping us today with paint choices. I'd say today the questions that arise are, we need to address are what color choices work with what finishes, and what choices do sellers need to stay clear of, and why?
Great questions. All right, well, as you are preparing to sell your home, you are going to want to think about creating a space that just about anybody can move into without feeling like they have to make changes. And this isn't the time that you think about your own personal taste, but you think about creating a neutral environment where a buyer can envision themselves living in this home as opposed to it being your home. So I'm excited for you to get to choose your personal taste for your new home as you depersonalize this one. Now, we are standing in a client's house that's mid-construction. They moved into a house that had a lot of beautiful colors that were personalized to the seller, and they didn't fit with this client's aesthetic. And they wanted light, open, airy, white, which I have a lot of clients asking for. So that really is the desire of most people today. So certainly you're never gonna please everybody. We're just shooting for a general population. All right, so you already have some existing finishes in your home. Maybe your cabinets are painted. Whatever color those cabinets are painted, if you're not repainting, we want to complement that. Maybe your cabinets are wood toned. If so, we need to take into consideration the undertone of those wood cabinets. I'll give you an example. We have a warm undertone and a cool undertone. If you have a warm undertone cabinet and you put a cool gray with it, it's gonna make those yellow cabinets look even more yellow. So we wanna neutralize that color with something like this that just complements it without fighting with it. Now, if you have a really dark cabinet like this espresso color, again, you're gonna wanna lean away from a dark neutral. You're gonna wanna lighten it up to give it some openness. You want to create a bigger look, not a smaller, cozy look. I love the small, cozy look. We have rooms that are small, that look small and cozy. Today, we're talking about making the house look bigger.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. And then sometimes if we have a really gray cabinet, we're gonna wanna neutralize that gray. We're not gonna wanna add more gray. And let's be honest, gray is really on its way out. It's trending out, so that's not going to really help the new buyer move in. So I'm going to lean you towards something that's more neutral. What's so great about this cabinet color, it's called Shoji White from Sherwin-Williams, and it really can go with the cool tones or with the warm tones.
Yeah.
And so that helps you not have to know the things that I have to know. So if you feel insecure about what's cool, what's warm, pick a neutral tone that can go either way. That's going to help you. Shoji White, Sherwin-Williams. The wall color here, granted it doesn't have its backsplash installed yet, but the wall color here is the house color. The whole house really is Dunn Edwards Warm White. Again, this warm white, similar to Sherwin-Williams Alabaster or Benjamin Moore Dove White. These neutral warm whites are going to go with just about anything that you have. Yeah, so let's touch on paint finishes. As you consider painting your house, your painter is going to ask you what finish you want. I'm going to recommend to you for your walls to go with just a basic eggshell. This is not too shiny, and it's washable. So if somebody comes through your house and drags their fingers on the wall, it's going to be easy to take care of that. If you paint it with a flat paint, as beautiful as it looks, it's just not very cleanable. On your cabinets, if you're painting your cabinets, this is called a satin finish. And this satin finish is nice because it's cleanable without being really shiny. Some people like a high gloss. That's another personal taste. And we're guiding you to pick things that are more across the board. So a nice satin finish is great on your cabinetry. On your trim, you could go on your baseboards, on your doors. You could go with a satin, but I'm going to probably lean you more towards a semi-gloss. That's more traditional in terms of that's more of a typical choice. And again, it's because it's so cleanable. Your bathrooms typically are either a semi or a high gloss so that they can resist mildew and be cleanable. Those are your color choices, your lid, your ceiling. You always want that in flat because it's just not perfect, and the more sheen you have, the more flaws you see. So we keep the lid flat.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing. We will provide a link in the description below with all of Julie's recommendations on finishes and color choices as well. Thanks for joining us. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Thanks.